Hello, everyone. Today I am joined by BTC's Bobby Poulter. Bobby, how we doing today?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
So you fight Avinash Chowtree, right? Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Avinash
Close
Chowtree
enough.
at BTC 24 on June 8th. So, I mean, back at BTC, I wanted to ask you, you're opening the main card on one of the bigger events in Canadian MMA right now. BTC 24, you got names like Adam Asenza, Tony Laramie, Kyle Prepolek on the card. Just how does it feel to be opening one of the bigger cards in Canadian MMA so far this year?
It's actually exciting, man. Like I wasn't sure how the card was going to look because 6 weeks ago, weren't a lot of matchups announced, and as the card started to get put together, I just got more and more excited. I'm like, let me open it up, let me open up the card. I asked them, and they granted my wish. So I'm amped, man. This is going to be an explosive fight. So no better way to start it out. Let one of the Burlington boys open up the main card, and then have a sense of one of the other Burlington boys close it out in the main event.
Hell yeah. So I see you've trained with actually Tony and Adam before. I wanted to ask what your relationship was like with them and just you have any other friends on the card?
Yeah, I got a couple guys in the car. We got a big, even if like they're not training at our gym, like Tony trains down in Windsor. Train a little bit more with his brother, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little closer to my weight, but they're a great, solid crew. Preplik's been up once or twice to spar with us, so like he's solid too. But the guys that I have the closest ties to would be Senza's one of my main training partners.
Okay.
I spar with him every single week. We drill all the time. Like he's one of my boys. And then Matt Smith is also on the card. He actually lives like almost 2.5 hours from here,
Oh wow.
and he comes down here every weekend to train with us. So
What a guy.
yeah, yeah, man.
What a
He's,
guy.
he, I know, man. It's tough when you grow. You know, when you're living in a small town, you're not going to get the same looks. Like BTC Saturdays here, like I come in and I can get 3 rounds of UFC vets or like some of the best guys in the country every weekend. And so it's like, guys will drive I want to drive 40 minutes, 30 minutes. These guys are driving 2.5 hours.
Hell yeah. So
But yeah,
commitment,
so
man.
we got a whole crew showing up on. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, man,
yeah.
we got a whole crew.
That's awesome though. You get to fight with your guys. Everyone's there. Everyone's gonna be hyping up the next person fighting and the next person fighting. It's awesome to have like a nice big group there of guys that you just are familiar with, friends with, train with, all of that. It's nice. So this will be
Oh
your
yeah.
third fight with BTC in just 7 pro fights. It's been a bit of a back and forth, but is there something about fighting under them that makes you want to keep coming back to the promotion, or is that just kind of how things have played out with your career?
I mean, like I love working with BTC. They've always been so good to us. My manager Jake from Ruby has an awesome relationship with them as well. So it's been a roller coaster trying to find fights. Like we've gone out in the States, we're trying to make everything we can happen, but even with this fight, like it didn't materialize. I was supposed to be fighting on this card 10 weeks ago. We had opponent after opponent either pull out, fall through, can't get into Ontario. Which fighting in Ontario is fucking nightmare, man. I wouldn't want to fight in Ontario, and I live here. So trying to find opponent sucks because a lot of the medical issues. But so yeah, only about 3 weeks ago, there's like a handful of guys that they're like, hey, this is it. Like one of them doesn't say yes, like you're screwed. We had one guy say yes, and we're like, fuck it, we take it.
Yeah.
Let's go. So whether it was going to be Unified or BTC, I love fighting in Burlington. Like I train here, right? Like I've lived here for quite some time, so I love it. I had no second thoughts when they offered me the fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, it must be nice, obviously, one, fighting close to home, and two, I mean, you didn't really have many choices. You kind of just were like, I want to fight, like, whoever says yes, let's go. Let's fight, like, let's get this over with, because you have been out of action for about a year now. I mean, you had a year-long layoff before your last fight. That was really due to cancellations, finding opponents, a lot of bad luck, and it seems like you kind of had the same thing going on a bit now. So you were just eager to get back in there and just fight. Literally, just fight as quick as you can.
That's it, man. Like the crazy part is like I trained full time. Like I had an injury in October that took me out about 4 months. So that was unfortunate, but it happens. The fact that this is the first major injury I've had, but I've made my way back, and then since February I've been trying to find a fight. So where are we at? June? Like
Yeah.
it's taken some time, but also I think sometimes with how often I train, it's like development is huge in this sport. So like we're getting back to it now. I want to rattle off 3 more fights this year. So like, I just got to stay active, man. That's like been the crux of my career, is trying to find fights and consistent fights.
Hell yeah. So you what's it? You did you want to take some time to relax after your last fight? You know, you had the quick loss, but I just was wondering if you were like thinking that you wanted to take some time off, wanted to improve a little bit, or if you were kind of just trying to get back in there as soon as possible and then the injury happened.
That's exactly. I was trying to get back in there as soon as we could. We had some trouble getting matchups for a little bit, and then after that, like, I didn't really. I took like 2 weeks, a week and a half, and then I was like right back to full swing. And then that was when the injury happened, about a month later, 2 months later, and that was like so fortunate. But no, I've never in my career been like, I just need some time off. Like, that's never been my mindset. I've always been training, always been ready to fight. It's just sometimes it just hasn't worked out in my favor, and that's okay, because like, as much as I love fighting, I think development is huge, because I started late in the sport. So like, I got to make sure I make the most out of the years of training, getting better every single time.
No, most definitely. And speaking of getting better in the sport, you've been training with one of the better fighters in Canada at the moment, Serhiy Sidey. I think you guys are close friends, I want to say. And let me know if I said that wrong, by the way. But how has it been to, like, you know, kind of see how the big show has been like with him, and just how did you guys meet and become so close?
Oh man, so I moved to Burlington when I was 18, and I didn't know anybody. And to be honest, I didn't care to know anyone at that time. I moved here. I was like, I'm just gonna dial in. I just, when I started training, I just, dropped out of school. I was like, this is gonna be my life. Like, this is everything. I'm gonna train and be a pro fighter. I'm gonna do everything I can. And one of the first dudes I met here was Serhiy. Actually, he was one of my first sparring partners, and I was helping him spar because he was fighting at 155 at that time. Crazy, he's a bantamweight now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was so. Once we met, man, we just got super close over the years. We did back-to-back fight camps so many times. He's been one of my best friends for like 10 years. Man, seeing him get into the UFC, like, just seeing his whole career play out. Again, he had a tough injury at one point, which took him out almost a year, and then he came back, couple wins, couple title fights, and then bang, Contender Series, quick KO, UFC in Toronto debut. That was crazy, man. We were there, obviously, and that was an electric moment. It was a crazy fight. Obviously, we thought he got the W, but it was, regardless, it was a great showing, and I fucking can't wait to see what's next for him.
Yeah, I think the only people that thought he didn't get the W that night were the judges themselves. I'm pretty sure everyone else that watched that fight thought that he got the W that night. But either way, maybe we'll see a trilogy with them down the line. He had a great showing. Like you said, it was like a fight of the night kind of fight. I don't remember if it actually won fight of the night, but it should have if it didn't, because that fight was electric. It was amazing to watch.
It was. And it was great. It's also great to see, like, he's the first one of our guys on our team to make it to that level. He started a little bit before everybody, so he's about a year or two ahead of everyone. We got a small team of about 8 or 10 guys, but like, in a couple of years, the whole squad's gonna be there, and he's just leading the way, leading the pack, and he's fucking doing a great job with it.
Oh yeah! So you got gold at the Oshawa BJJ Open, gold at the Ontario BJJ Open, and then you just have one submission in your pro career, and it's in your first pro fight. Could we expect to see more of that grappling and submission game going forward, considering the fact that you've been dominating in these grappling tournaments?
I'd like to, man. Honestly, thing is, man, ever since my first knockout, I just like got obsessed. I just want to hurt. I just want to hit people. I want to see them fall. But like, hey, like, my fights, they haven't lasted long enough to get to the ground. Like, I'm definitely implementing in my sparring. If you see when I spar, like, I grapple, my striking is great too, but I think it'll come out in time. But if you're beating guys on the feet, what's the point of taking them to the ground? So I think you'll see a little bit more in this upcoming matchup, because Avinash is a tough kid. So like, at least I know he won't be put out of there, hopefully in the first 30 seconds to a minute, and I can actually get some cage time, because it's been 4 years since I fought past 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that would be nice.
I want to say that you're like kind of a wrestler that developed like some ridiculous punching power. Would you say I'm wrong with that?
I mean, buddy, I didn't have any wrestling. I've never wrestled in my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have any traditional martial arts background. I started in MMA with zero experience in anything.
Wow.
Nothing. Yeah. And it was just like, everything kind of developed based on my coaches around me, based on the fighters around me. We had such a diverse room at the time that, like, I got to pick up things from everywhere. But obviously, like in my first fight, I think people saw that pro debut and they saw me just wrestle fuck that dude,
Yeah.
and they just assumed that is the kind of fighter I am. And in my second fight, I shot probably about 40 times in a matter of 15 minutes. It was just a game plan that we had, but then I tried to switch it up a little bit, stay on the feet, and then we started getting some KOs. So now we gotta fine tune everything, man. Like I'm by no means a complete fighter yet. Like I have so long to go. Like I learn every single time I go into my training sessions about who I am as a fighter, and I'm just trying to develop every single piece. So that way, when I go into a fight, it's not just, am I gonna knock him out? Great. Am I gonna wrestle fuck him? No. Am I gonna submit him? No. It's like I'm gonna take the first thing he gives me, well, no matter what it is.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you kind of see that in your fights. Like you said, you've mixed it up, you've wrestled a lot, you've struck a lot, and I mean, man, you've put some dudes lights out. Like seriously, you've put some dudes lights out. You have some very good knockout wins. I'm looking forward to seeing, you to continue improving in all aspects of martial arts, because like you said, you didn't even have a background coming in when you first started, and man, like the fact that you didn't have a background coming in, you went undefeated as an amateur, and then you're knocking dudes out, you're beating dudes with your wrestling. I mean, it really shows a lot of good potential for you coming up in the sport.
Hey, brother, we just gotta get some momentum going, right? Like I gotta get some wins. I've had, I wasn't super impressed with my last performance, and then the last two of the last three I've lost. Like that shit made me go back and rethink everything. So like it's not always up. Sometimes you gotta hit bottom before you get higher, and that's kind of what it felt like I got to. And now I'm just excited to go out there and honestly just perform again, because like even though I only fought for 30 seconds in the last fight, as soon as I stepped back in there after a year off, I was like, I missed this shit. Didn't even matter if it was for 10 seconds, 15. I'm like, I just know that this is meant for me, and I can't wait to show what I really have to offer.
Yeah, you say you got to get some more wins. You got to get some more fights, man. You got to
Buddy,
get people to accept you, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like you just got to get more people to like accept these damn fights against you, so you can put together some more wins.
I know, man. I think it might be time that I have to leave Ontario. If we can't get any guys to come here, like I don't think it's necessarily guys don't want to fight me. Obviously, we're getting a handful of no's, but like it's guys that just literally like, yeah, I can't get the medicals done in time. I can't get the medicals. I can't afford the medicals. I'm like offering them. I told my manager, I was like, if it comes down to it, tell them I will pay my fight purse. I do not care. Just get me somebody that will come here and show up so I can get a fight. Like,
hell yeah.
It's just about experience at this point.
No, I definitely understand. It must be very annoying after a while. Hopefully this year treats you different, and the future treats you different, where you actually are able to step in the cage at least a couple times a year and just, be able to string together some wins, be able to keep improving inside of the cage and some real fight experience.
100%, bro. That's the dream, man. That's the dream. That's all I'm asking for.
So you had your first loss back in 2022. You bounced back with a quick first round finish in your next fight. Are you coming into this fight with the same mentality you had back then, or have things kind of changed for you?
The mentality of my fights never really changed too much. Obviously, I came in with a lot to prove. Like that first loss was tough, but like the second loss wasn't any fucking better. I was just as hard on myself, but like the drive just got better from it. So, sometimes you can get complacent, but I learned probably a year or two ago that complacency just doesn't have a place in the sport. So like I'm trying to get better every day. Every day I can train. I physically am healthy enough to train. I am in there and I'm trying to get better. So like I literally just can't wait to fight. I just can't wait to show how much improvement I've made, and it's gonna be fucking awesome.
I love that quote, man. Complacency does not have a place in this sport. That is a quote. You should use that. Also, you still don't have a nickname, do you?
No, I don't yet, man.
We gotta get you a nickname, man. We gotta get you a nickname. We gotta get you something.
At some point, I'm sure somebody will say something and it'll stick. But we just fight until we earn that nickname. It's not something given; it's something taken, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's usually how it happens. It's just someone randomly at the gym calls you something, and you're like, you know what? I like that, and you just roll with it.
Exactly.
So you've been doing a bit of coaching at the Combat Clinic. I wanted to ask how long you've been with them, and just what kind of coaching have you been doing over there?
So the Combat Clinic opened up probably about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. The owner is Scott Hudson, and him and I actually have been training partners for a long time. He was a coach of mine probably 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then, I worked my way up to the ranks, fought amateur, and then when I started fighting pro, we started training more. We actually opened up a little tiny little COVID gym, a little COVID bunker, just where we actually had a pro team training out of for a little while our main gym closed.
Okay.
But afterwards, I was focusing on my career. Scotty's gone on to just full time coaching. So he opened this spot up, and he's like, "Do you want to come coach?" I'm like, "Of course, man. Like I would love that." So I'm here with Scotty almost every night. I'm coaching MMA, coaching kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, one-on-one strength training, just pretty much just living the lifestyle, man. Training in the morning, training in the afternoon, teaching in the evening.
Nice, man. Nice. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear that you've been keeping yourself busy, even though you haven't been busy inside the cage. You've been busy outside of it for sure.
Oh, buddy, always. Oh, I can't chill. I'm not a chill person. I'm always on the go, always doing something.
So along those lines, this is my last question, by the way. You're a big traveler, and we talked about it last time, some of your favorite places to travel to. Have you traveled anywhere since your last fight?
Yeah, I went to Portugal. That was
Ooh.
sweet. Yeah, that was a great time, man.
What'd you do there?
Yeah, what did we do there?
Yeah.
We literally just went straight from the coast, drove the coastline all the way from the north side, almost like being in Spain, all the way down south, all the way to the border of France. Like it was beautiful, man. That was like something that was really cool. It was like more of a travel, like was it like an adventure more than like a vacation, right? So
That's awesome.
It was good. I got to spend time with my girl, and it's it's long needed sometimes when I'm training, coaching all the time. Like shit's hard, but you gotta make time for the important people and things in your life.
Yeah.
No matter how
definitely.
great this sport might be. So that was fun. That's been about it. Otherwise, I've just been here trying to train.
Yeah, busted your ass, man.
Busting my ass every day.
All right. Well, Bobby, that's it for me. Everyone tune in. Bobby Poulter fights Avinash Chowtree at BTC 24 on June 8th. Next week. I mean, we're only a couple days away now. Bobby, anything else you want to say before we go?
If you guys catch that pay-per-view, get in there. It's going to be a banger.
Yes, sir. And get him some sponsors. I saw that. Get Bobby some sponsors before this fight. Seriously.
Sponsor. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Anyone. I'm willing to help out here and give back. I want some help too. Let's get it.
Oh, yeah. All right, Bobby. Thank you for your time.
Of course, buddy. Thank you.